everyone, welcome to Political Quickie, your political show that subjectively discusses political headlines in South Africa and all around the world. My name is Mapa Sekamura. So 14 million rands was accidentally poured into the account of a student. This all happened at the Walter Sisulu University, and the name of the student is Sibongile Mani. This all happened by mistake, apparently. These are funds from Nsfas, and this happened through a company that is a go-between students and Nsfas. So she went on a splurging spree, and she spent 818,000 of the 14 million rands. The money disappeared for 2 months, and nobody noticed. No one noticed. Actually 14 million rands is missing. It's not in our accounts. It just seems to be poof, gone. So that in itself is incredibly dodgy, I think. Yeah. The company is actually planning to press charges against Usbongile for misappropriation of funds. And she could spend up to 15 years in prison for this. But you know what? Let's be honest. I mean, the story is like super dodgy, sankadinawa. But let's be honest and ask ourselves if it was us. Would we tell, the authorities that actually there's been 14 million rands accidentally deposited into my account? Let's hypothetically say you would say, I would not do that. So maybe you'd have two choices. Stay here, be on the low, don't splurge. You might have to pay off a few officials, or this might not even have been your idea. So you might only get a cut of that 14 million rands because maybe someone else is the one who, orchestrated the whole thing. The second thing is you could potentially go to a country that does not have an extradition treaty with South Africa, and so you could splurge on that side. Yes, and no one could arrest you ever because there's no extradition. Let's talk about how you would potentially spend this money. Let's say you would spend 4 or 5 million on a McDonald's franchise, and then take the other, say 4 million rands and buy 4 houses in like Auckland Park or like Westdean. That's student accommodation for those UJ kids, right? Yeah. So that's you creating passive income. And then take the rest of the money and put it in some bonds in some country somewhere that's doing well economically. And then but like have like 1 million rands left and just to live off, and then you're on the DL, and then when you have created that passive income, then you could start buying that beamer because or whatever else that you want. Just hypothetically thinking how we could spend this 14 million rands. Anyways, moving right along to other news. Duduzane Zuma had an interview with the BBC. And they spoke about the whole Gupta saga. And he said the Guptas like him because he's a likable guy. He does not think that they want anything from him. Very interesting, right? Very interesting. And then he was asked, and I think this is the crux of it, he was asked whether or not he thinks that he's considered that he could actually go to prison for everything that's happened. And he said no, he does not think, that thought has never crossed his mind. In fact, that thought just crossed his mind right then and then. And I think the interesting thing about the whole interview was his facial expressions and his demeanor, and how this guy is not, I don't think, delusional. I think you can see on his face that he's realizing what is actually going on, what he's actually done, and the impact that could have on his freedom. And I think it'll just be interesting to see how all of this turns out in the near future, in the very near future. Anyways, moving right along to international news. Yes, but this is like more like over the border news. Yeah. Robert Mugabe, the president of Zimbabwe, called Nelson Mandela, our former president, a sellout. Apparently he came to South Africa and he asked one of the ANC ministers why white people in this country have so much power. And apparently the response of the minister, the unnamed minister, because you don't know who it was, he said that this was all because of his friend, Nelson Mandela. Interesting conversation, by the way. In the same breath, Cyril Ramaphosa, there are emails that have been leaked about Makwapeng situations that are going on in his life, or have gone on in his life. On a serious note, I guess what perplexes me about both these stories, although they might seem unrelated, is that there's someone working extra hard to discredit a certain kind of politician, the kind of politician that to some extent South Africans still consider a hero. I mean, Cyril, as much as after Marikana and the whirlwind that is going on within the ANC, a lot of people still have some sort of faith in him. And it's just interesting that if he moves out of the picture, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma would have a better chance to actually win the presidency of the ANC. And Utata, I think that it would be beneficial to Jacob Zuma for him to be painted in this light, because the narrative, or the idea that actually all presidents have their shortcomings and they're all imperfect, would kind of have us looking at the whole situation, well, they're not, he's not so bad, because they've all done not so good things, or questionable things at that. So it's just funny that these people are being discredited and skeletons are being hoed out of the closet, and it just seems to be in the benefit of somebody else. I think the conversation of Utata and the National Party and the negotiations, that's an interesting conversation to have, actually. I think these things that are happening with both Cyril and Utata is that they're like stereotypes. It's not completely false. It's just incomplete information. And I think they would be on another day. There would be really interesting conversations to have, I think. Moving right along, to on the side note today, the lucky word to discuss is fear. This generation of ours, I feel like the number one thing that we absolutely struggle with is this thing called fear. It's the weirdest thing, is that I feel that this black generation, this black youth of right now, of today, there's never ever been a black generation with so much opportunity. And we could debate about our economic state, our political state, and of course unemployment is on high, but in terms of building businesses and being creative, thinking out of the box, I just feel like there's literally opportunity everywhere. And the number one thing I feel stopping us is not even like the systematic racism. I feel like the number one thing is fear. And fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of competition, fear of comparison, fear of not being good enough, fear of getting it wrong. There's just so much fear in the air that we just are paralyzed and we're not doing anything because we fear XYZ. I love the way the Bible puts it, and it says that for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love and peace and a sound mind. And I feel like that reinforces that every bad thing, its opposite is love. So actually love is the answer to everything. In the same breath, I love the way Will Smith puts it. He's like, you know what? The only fear I have is of fear itself. And anything that he fears, apparently he attacks. And imagine if that were us, that everything that we fear, we would attack. Because I found that personally for me, everything that I feared to do was because I thought someone else thought XYZ, or I thought I would absolutely fail, or but like imagine if like so what? Like so what if you do fail? Or so what if XYZ thinks XYZ? You know? I feel like give it a chance and take it from there. And if you fail, that's amazing. So try again. So I wish would be fearless and would just be courageous and brave and just step into the unknown and take a chance on things. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like that would be really, really amazing. And I hope and I'm praying that that's us in the near future. Yeah. That has been Political Cricket. My name is Mapaseka Mura. Use your talents to serve humanity. Be awesome. Do exciting things out there in life, guys. I love you.